All right, we're talking Riverside football. Harry Armstrong, congratulations, district champs. Talk a little bit about getting the job done there for Riverside.
John, thanks a lot. We're incredibly thrilled right now to have that opportunity to be in that position, and our guys really stepped up for this game. Having a chance to play Dunmore again in that game, it gave a little bit of an extra reward in that regards because there's so much rivalry there and so much familiarity. But our defense set the tone right off the bat. Offense, we were a little bit slow to start, but really, I couldn't be more proud of our defensive front seven as far as how we've gotten better through the year, reading our keys and playing more physical. And at this time of the year, if you're not playing a physical brand of football, you're probably not playing anymore.
You were jacked up in July. It always seems to be the first team I talk to is the Riverside Vikings. It's just kind of a little tradition we've had that, you guys are ready to go. You're right out of the gate. You're going to passing camps and, 7-on-7s and different things. Talk about the development from then, where your confidence was, to now. Here we are, we're in November, and you guys are still playing football.
Well, you bring up a great point. With a long season like this, we were just chatting at the end of practice. This is like week 15 in essence, bringing back to camp. And, starting the year off playing Dunmore week 1 and then playing them week 12, you get a really good evaluation of how much we've improved as a team. And it was incredible. And again, I think it goes back to our guys up front, and that's really the area we've improved the most through the year. But I think one of our most consistent areas, and it's been absolutely superb, is Chase Sidoni at quarterback and our offense taking care of the football. And that goes back to all the work we put in the summertime, doing the 7-on-7 passing camps, getting out and really learning how to make great decisions and take care of the football. So when you're in a situation where your quarterback accounts for about 35 touchdowns and we had our first turnover that could have actually been a touchdown for us, it says a lot about the work that these guys put in, and I couldn't be happier for these guys.
We didn't get that opportunity this summer to talk to Richie. He was away. Now we do get a chance to talk to him. It's so well-deserving for this young man. I know you're really high on who he is as a person, not just a football player. Talk a little bit about him.
Yes, well, his style as a player begins with who he is as a person and his character. He has been going back to his 8th grade year when he really started working with our program. Nothing short of spectacular with his work ethic and his development, and he's really built himself into a phenomenal player that is a three-way player. He's on every special team, defense, offense, in multiple positions. It takes immense amount of character and relentless competitive nature to take on that large of a role, and at the same time, lead our guys and help build our culture and develop the younger players. So he's really set the tone for us in that regards, and all of that is showing up with big plays all over the place, again, in all 3 phases.
You'd love to give a guy like him a break, but he's so valuable, as you said. He's on this, he's on that. Talk a little bit about, he's okay with it and his motor and just his mentality.
He's willing to do whatever is necessary for us to win the football games. He's had games where he's had 20 touches and 5 touchdowns. He's had games where he's had 5 touchdowns but 20 knockdown blocks. So he understands the team aspect of the game, and he's so willing to sacrifice whatever it may be for the betterment of the team. And even with those things, he's still, at this point in time, he's the all-time leading receiver as a tight end, yardage, touchdowns, and receptions in the area. And this year, he's probably played about 30 or 40% of his snaps at tight end. He's played a big bulk for us at the running back and fullback position now, too. So that's a new role that he's taken on, and a lot of chases, runs. You're going to find 87 leading the way with him there, too. So he's been a devastating lead blocker as a running back and as a ball carrier for us, too.
Some of those guys up front. There are a couple of guys still developing, and then you had a guy that was pretty much at the top of his game. Let's talk about, where they're at right now here in November.
Yep. Well, the guy at the top of his game is Tavion Branch. And, man, did he have a phenomenal game against Dunmore. And there's a player where we're talking about how did players develop through the season. It almost, beginning of the year, he was excellent. He was almost unblockable. There were plays, and I've never seen this before, quadruple teamed. 4 guys on him, center, both guards, and a running back, blocking him in pass protection. And then our defensive ends and outside linebackers were able to take advantage of that. So, he sees some of these things, and he doesn't get discouraged with it. He just keeps his motor going and tries to plow through those guys and continues going as hard as he can. So I think one of his biggest developments is understanding it's not about the statistics. It's not necessarily about the tackles and sacks. It's about creating opportunities for the team. And, him being an interior lineman with that, sometimes that's going to be a more important role than making the tackles for loss or the sacks. And when he does get a one-on-one, he's a tough man to block, and he makes those plays.
Your confidence, you're never an underdog in your mind. No matter who you're playing, you always feel like we got a chance. We could beat this team. We're going to find a way. Talk a little bit about, how that rubs off on your players with your program. I mean, people say, oh, that Armstrong, man, he's a little full of himself. But, it's a confidence about you that, it's an aura that helps your squad.
Well, that confidence and that aura comes from players on our program like Richie and Chase and Tavion and JJ Rothers, and I could keep going on with guys. So having the belief in these players, starting with their character first, that gives me the confidence to know that these guys are going to do whatever it takes, and they're willing to take on whatever role we ask them for. So it starts with those guys, and then just having that belief in our character of our team and our willingness to prepare week to week and improve and get better. Yeah, that's always going to be there. So if you're in the fight, you got to believe you can win it.
Go get him, Harry. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John.